And we are going.
Are you going to put music in the background for this one?
Yes, I have playlists going,
Okay.
as I always do.
Um,
Elder Scrolls music largely.
Alright, so for those of you listening out there in the internet land, this is being recorded from Brian because my microphone died.
Hello.
So,
If it sounds
and I am
like
also going
Shiza.
to sound very much different because I am doing Discord from my phone to
Yes.
make for this recording thing.
Yeah.
But yes. So, the person doing the last time this time is going to be Brian.
So, where we last left off in Shadows of Gradiriel, we spoke to an individual in the town we were in that I do not immediately remember the name of. What was the name of the town?
Mork.
Mork, that was it. We had arrived in the town of Mork, and Silver had caught wind and overseen an individual looking shifty as all balls, and had chosen to confront them about it. In the process, we learned that their name was Razzo. And eventually, through a bunch of things, very complicated and very abstract metaphysical magic bullshit, discovered his plight, that he was once the head of this town, and through some mystic mumbo jumbo is not that anymore and is trying to become that again, and is having to do so through relatively underhanded means, fighting corruption with corruption or something to that effect. Then, after my character deduced all of that from a mental mindscape conversation using Awakened Mind, a dragon showed up, and we all learned that we had accidentally pissed it off when we killed a couple of giant twins that were apparently under said dragon's protection. We were able to avoid a confrontation with said dragon, or at least mitigated most of it. There were a couple rounds where people were kind of bitch slapping each other and it wasn't fun. But we eventually managed to get everyone to stop and calm down and get their shit together, explained that it was in self-defense to the dragon, had to shell out some money for one reason or another, I can't remember. Silver was kind of annoyed by it, but yeah. And eventually, and Silver was just upset for like most of the whole session.
Yeah.
But eventually, by the end of the session...
Silver had a bad morning.
Silver had a very bad morning. By the end of the session, everyone gathered in, I believe it was the tower in the center of town, right? Or nearby that?
No, it's like a little magic shop thing that doesn't
right.
have an actual door for some reason.
Yes.
Just hanging beads.
Yep, little magic shop somewhere in town where we spoke more with Razzo, learned a bit more about the situation he was in. Silver got all caught up on that, and we agreed to lend Razzo our assistance if in exchange for our assistance he would, well, for one thing, help expedite our return to Gradiriel proper, and might even potentially aid us in our own little problems back there. So, with all that said, I do believe that is where we last left off.
Viewers out there, we were going to be missing an elephant for the first part of this session because of new scheduling and things.
Yep.
But that is fine. As was said, last session ended with you in the little magic-y area that Amos runs, Amos being the blinkling that oversees the teleportation circle that you guys may or may not use to get back home to Gradiriel quickly. We ended with you speaking with Amos and Razzo, deducing that, as Ryan said, that you were going to help him in his plight. And following that, it being sort of midday-ish, it's like 2 p.m., after you guys had your sort of rough morning, you went out and you dealt with the dragon, not really fighting it, but just sort of there.
Hiding behind an elephant and using thaumaturgy to shout at it.
Well, yeah, you hid behind the elephant until the elephant ran towards the dragon. But anyway, though the elephant was not running towards the dragon, the elephant was running towards his friend and his possible friend of another elephant that he was wanting to stop everybody from fighting. But anyway, he was wanting to do what Locke was wanting to do. He was just more physical about it. Razzo, following, you guys agreeing, is basically, alright, so, I have a few other things I need to take care of in town. as best I can. And you guys did have that encounter with the dragon outside the gates prior. So I say we spend a little bit more time in town, rest up, explore the town maybe. I don't know if many of you have. And following tomorrow evening, we will set up a little infiltration so that you can help me get my town back, shall we?
All right. Doesn't sound too far out of our
Oh.
wheelhouse.
Oh, and I can pay off whatever tab you may need for the tavern to since you're going to be staying another night down here when you may not have planned that.
Excellent.
I'll not say no.
Yay.
All right. So with that, Razo sort of tips his hat to both Amos and Amos's family, which you guys had loosely met. Young Blinkling, and an older woman that was nearby. It's obvious to you guys at this point that if this is Amos's family, they're not like, the woman isn't like his wife. The woman may be like his daughter or something because of the age difference. Amos looks to be probably in his late 50s or 60s, while the younger Blinkling is early 30s. So, but either way, he sort of tips his hat to all of you, and Razo makes his leave. And you guys have basically the rest of the day to do what you like, and actually 2 days to do what you like. Whether or not you want to make your way to just directly to the inn or whatever it is you want to do.
Does this place have a like an armor and weapons shop?
Looking around town, yeah, it actually does.
All right.
You see a little sign post. Given time, because of it being a while before we got to this session, I was actually able to get some names of places.
Swanky.
Always
nice when you have names
so-
of places.
Names of places and people. I actually spent the time to do that. I don't do that usually. I probably need to do that more, but hindsight. The name of the weapon shop, if Locke is going to go to the weapon shop, you see the name above the little plaque over the door. I'm going with like sort of Final Fantasy-esque logic in that you know this place is a weapon shop because it has some sort of icon or indicator to say, hey, this is a weapon shop.
An anvil.
Yeah, that and name. The name of this shop is the Twisted Scythe.
Ominous. I'm going in.
The door is locked.
What time is it?
As I said, it is roughly, we'll say, about 1 or 2 p.m., just after the village was almost attacked by a dragon.
Yeah, everyone kind of ran for shelters. So the shop owner. I will knock.
There's a brief pause of no sort of sound or anything, and then eventually, we're closed.
When will that not be the case?
Tomorrow.
All right.
Do you have business you want to take care of now?
I mean,
Locke?
I'd rather get it done before we go on our little thing. I mean, I'll sort of pat myself down a little bit, like, I've been wearing the same suit of armor since long before I met any of you. It's battered, and I am in dire need of an upgrade with the increasingly dangerous shit we keep fighting.
Right. Shall I?
And Oak pipes up as you're going through this, and he's like, well, we do have more than just tonight, or today. He did say that it would be tomorrow night when we would do the infiltration, so...
Yeah, so I can wait until tomorrow, as long as it gets done before we do the infiltration.
You sure?
Or we could just have Silver smack the door in.
I'd rather not. I love watching you kick in doors, Silver. This is not one I want to do that with.
Also, at the moment of Locke mentioning something about, having armor and things that he hasn't changed since the day you guys met, there's a random bit of our elephant who's being controlled as an NPC right now, and this makes sense. He sort of looks over himself and realizes his nice suit and tie and tux and business attire is not so great right now.
He probably needs a new suit.
Yeah, could probably use a new suit, yeah. Huh. I mean...
Yes. What about Silver and Bjorn? What are you guys doing?
I don't know. Silver's just hanging out with Young, kind of in the back
Yeah.
of the group.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, Bjorn's mostly just hanging out. He mostly wants to head back to the taverns and get something to drink, but he's going to chill with the group until they're ready to go.
Okay. Well, if places are closed, then I guess there's nothing else for it but to do that. Yeah.
Yep.
Or it can be very persuasive.
Locke's gonna start walking back towards the tavern. It's not a big deal. I can wait.
Besides, all the wear and tear on your armor is proof of all the things that haven't killed you yet. I'm not sure why you would want new armor, to be honest.
So that nothing new can kill me.
I don't know.
If you don't keep up the armor, it can fail.
Yeah,
You need to trust your armor, so take care of it.
Yeah.
By the time your armor fails, you will have grown tough enough that you won't need it anymore.
That's not how skin works. Look at me, I slap myself. I am not made of 6 inches of solid muscle like the rest of you. I am a twig.
Do more push-ups.
My strength is 6.
If only Riven was here.
What, would she be on top of that?
She'd be like, you need more meat.
Just throw a drumstick at me. Ow, fuck, my ear.
Young sort of smiles at that and goes, well, he could just exercise. It might take a while, but...
Why don't they have like a magic book or something?
Do I know silent? I do not know silent. Fuck.
No, you don't. Alright.
Okay, then instead I would like to cast Mage Hand and just put the Mage Hand over Yong's mouth.
Okay.
I thought I had.
You do what now?
Darn, I don't.
Alright. So I guess you guys just make your way over to the tavern then. You guys all make your way back to the tavern then. You find when you get there that Mork, or Brazo, is already there, and he is setting down coin for the goblin so that you guys have your free stay, essentially.
Nice, nice.
Does it look like he's got enough coin for drinks as well?
Considering he put down an actual coin purse similar to the one that he gave you guys as a bribe earlier, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he most definitely has enough for you guys to have whatever drinks you want, whatever food you want, and another stay here. And seeing that you've come inside, he, again, smiles, and he will make his way upstairs. And, unless people want to do some sort of, like another drinking contest, we could probably jump on ahead to the next morning.
Probably. Locke's not going to participate in that.
Yeah.
Do our paladins want another drinking contest?
No. We've got work tomorrow night. We'll drink. We'll have a contest after.
Seems reasonable. Alright,
Jeez.
you all rest for the night. What little bit of spells were used yesterday get refilled, though primarily that's Oak, who had used Lesser Restoration twice, because drunk.
Apparently I used a spell slot in there somewhere. Oh yeah, to try and cast Charm Person, and it didn't work.
Yep. So following that, we have the next morning. First to wake up is probably Silver, because it usually is. Silver, you make your way downstairs, and as you are coming downstairs for the morning, you see two things. One, you see Razo again, and he, as you're coming down the steps, he's making his way to the door to head out. And he once again sends another coin towards the bartender, or the barkeep. He does that whole sort of sleight of hand, flick of the wrist, send it flying across the room kind of a thing. And also in the tavern, sitting near the bar, is Tontu, the Loxodon that you guys met that tried to attack the dragon. And Tontu just seems to be sitting calmly at the bar. She doesn't have a drink in front of her, she's just sitting there. Yeah. Silver, you're downstairs, you're the first one downstairs.
Okay.
Okay. I was just curious if you want to try to follow Razo or talk to Elephant.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
She's just gonna sit quietly to herself.
Alrighty. Eventually, everyone else would probably start to make their way down, which is probably gonna be Locke last, because that's usually the case. He's a late sleeper.
Yarpin, yarpin, narp.
upon Cad coming downstairs, Tontu will stand up and she will give a bow, a courteous bow towards Cad, and the two of them will share a brief conversation that no one can understand because conversation's in Loxodon. And following this, Cad will sort of look to everyone else, and then he will sort of he'll eye Locke and sort of tap at the side of his head.
I'm sorry, what? I was checking something for a second.
He looks towards Cad. Cad will look towards you and sort of tap the side of his head.
I am going to assume that means awakened mind, and I'm going to establish that connection. Something up?
Mm-hmm. Tontu wants me to follow her to her Loxodon temple for a moment. I don't necessarily have anything I wanted to get in town that I can think of. So, if it doesn't bother the rest of you, would it be okay if I spend some time with them for a bit?
I mean, as long as you're back in time for what we're doing, I don't see why not. Might want to run it by the rest of the people yourself, though.
Right. And then he will say out loud, Tontu wants me to travel with her to the temple nearby, and to the Loxodon temple nearby, and spend some time there for a while. I will make my way back here before the evening. I don't necessarily have anything I want to buy in town or really do any exploring, but I just wanted to make sure that it was okay with the rest of you or Locke. And he sort of eyes Silver because he's not entirely sure if Silver trusts Tontu.
Meh.
Alright.
That seems that seems pretty concrete.
Yeah. Cad will nod, and then he makes his leave, and he heads out.
So now we have an excuse for
Alrighty.
Cad to not be present for this bit.
Do what?
Now we have an excuse for Cad to not be present for this bit at the table.
Yep, exactly.
Is that the whole reason you squeezed that in there?
Well, that was something that I was planning anyway, and it just so happened to line up perfectly. So,
Nice, nice.
well, not quite perfectly. I wouldn't have necessarily wanted to breeze over the yesterday, but I could make it work and not be so horrible. So, following that, you guys have your morning, and you are free to do whatever it is you want to do. Explore, just hang out in the tavern for several hours, whatever you want to do.
Armor shop.
Yes.
I will look up.
All right.
What is Bjorn doing?
Going along with Locke.
Okay. So you're going to walk to the armor shop.
Yep.
Alright. So we're going to stay in the tavern?
Follow.
So is that a yes?
Yes, she's going to follow.
Okay. What are the
I wasn't
and what are the NPs doing?
Oak is actually going to go... Oak and Young are actually going to go to a different shop nearby.
Okay.
What shop are they going to?
The name of the shop that they're going to, it is the shop dubbed Faux Real. Faux Real.
P-H-O Real. Weird name.
It is a magic shop, or at least appears to be.
What are they I was going to say, what?
Magic shop.
Do they sell potions?
Maybe.
Potions? I just spit all
Alright.
over my microphone with that. Oh, God.
Good job. Good job.
Shut up.
Yep, good job. Alright.
Silver actually will go with them.
Okay.
So we're gonna go
She
with them?
doesn't need armor or weapons.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Alrighty. So we will start with Locke and Bjorn. You make your way back to the shop known as the Twisted Sight.
Ominous. I'm going in.
Yes. Now it is open.
Woohoo!
And you make your way inside, and you are immediately greeted with a overwhelming presence of like heat, which is different because Mork and most of this area is usually cold. This shop is very, very warm because there's a furnace and forge type area that is just blazing.
So it's like walking into just a brick wall of solid heat.
Yeah, pretty much. And you see a stout and muscular looking goblin male that is sort of tending to the steel. He's not doing any kind of pounding or anything yet. He just seems to be heating it up and prepping it.
I will cast
And
my
there's
eyes
all
about.
various forms. There's all sorts of various forms of armor and weapons and things all around the room.
Alright, do they have any studded armor that looks like it would fit a human? Or half-elf, in my case?
Looking around, yeah. He does have a set of studded leather off to the side. Seems a little worse for wear, but it is human-sized. Or, well, medium creature-sized.
Alright, okay. If that be the case, I will turn to said swole goblin, and I will say, how much for the studded leather here?
He sort of looks at the leathers and looks at you. One of the light armor types, huh? So, simple studded leather, He sort of looks both you and Bjorn up and down for a second, sort of appraising you. Nah. How about 10 gold?
Fuck, alright. That is 4 times cheaper than I was expecting. I will pay that gladly.
Alrighty.
Here you go.
Bjorn, you gonna get anything?
I don't suppose he's got anything that happens to be enchanted, does he? I imagine not in a town this size, but it's worth checking.
Not that he doesn't have anything that is immediately glowing or any sort of magical that you can see with your own eyes. Although you do have a very magical friend with you that may be able to figure that out more precisely.
This is a good point. Look, my friend. Any of this stuff around here, does any of it look like it has, say, any magical qualities?
I will look around and I will cast the detect magic.
Sort of eyes glow purple and...
Yep, as they do.
Having done that, you see that there is a armor piece. Seems to be like, we're talking full plate heavy armor that's in the back of his shop, just like above the forge. It's less looks like something that's going to be sold, and more looks like something that he has there as like some sort of trophy or display. And it's giving off a fairly strong magic aura, particularly of the adjuration variety. And
Abjuration, that's the defensive school, right?
Yep. And as you do that with your detect magic, the goblin goes, hey, none of that. I don't have any magic in here. Well, other than what you just saw.
Right. I get the impression that's not for sale, though.
No.
Alright. I'll blink and turn it off and turn back to Bjorn. Well, there is one thing that's magic, but it's not for sale.
Let's see. Well, if it's not for sale, it's not for sale, I suppose.
Also, if the two of you, or if Locke takes a better look at the armor, the full plate armor, it appears to be a full plate armor that is designed for not a small, not a medium, but actually a large creature.
Oh.
Someone bigger than me.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, Bjorn will give an appreciative nod, but will not be pushing the issue.
Okie dokes. Well, that's
right.
significantly cheaper than I was expecting it to be. But I can't think of anything else I need right out the gate. I just realized I still have the flute and scepter we found a long-ass time ago from those 2 dancing goblins. Did we ever get those identified?
I don't think you did. The only person that you would have encountered that had been able to cast Identify or anything of the sort would have been your mother, really.
Okay.
And I don't think you ever showed them to her. But technically, your dad could do it too.
Right.
Yeah. That all you're going to do in Twisted Scythe?
I suppose so. Yeah.
Good enough. All right. So with that in mind, we are going to jump over to the NPCs and Silver, who are making their way into the magic shop, or what appears to be a magic shop, known as Faux Real. And Faux Real, when the three of you step on in, you see that if not for the icon outside of the shop door and like namesake, you would entirely be sure that this place would be even a magic shop, because none of the things that are around the room are innately magical to you folks who don't have like detect magic eyes. At least with the grounds of there's nothing that is glowing, because there's nothing that is active. But there are there's quite a number of wares and items, both on display and being worked on behind the counter. And behind the counter, you have a female blinkling, appears to be maybe 25, 26, fairly young-ish. And as you guys are walking in, on top of the table, of the countertop, there's an itty-bitty little blinkling kid. We're talking super little, like 4 little.
Ah,
And like toddler little. He appears
Child.
to be yes, child. And he appears to be like playing with these little blocks of some sort that they have like calligraphy and design writing on them that no one in this group can really read. It's actually basically the building blocks with gnomes characters on the side. That's cute. And the little kid just sort of is clasping the blocks together like a little kid played with blocks would do. He does that a few times, and then poof, poof, he disappears from the side of the counter and appears on one of the shelves nearby.
Jack.
And
that's not dangerous at all.
Jack. Please tell me
Maybe, we don't know.
Please tell me the proprietor is Mr. Incredible.
No, not quite.
Oh.
But she, as the little one does this, she sort of gives this exasperated sigh and is like, Willows, get back over here. And then the little kid just poof, poof, reappears beside Mother. Mm-hmm. And yeah, she will look to the three of you that have walked in. You going to go for anything innately coming to the shop, Silver, or were you just following the NPCs?
I don't know. Depends what's in the shop.
All sorts of wares and things. Some of them are actually have little like labels written in the front of them. They're like little displays and selling prices and things. And one of them appears to be a ring with a very finely carved design of some sort. Silver doesn't really recognize the ring. But the little name beside the ring's label says Ring of Attunement.
What? Hey, excuse me.
Hmm.
What is this?
Oh, that. She smiled, and that is a Ring of Attunement. If you, I don't know if you know this, but certain magical items make it very important for you to focus on them and keep your wits about you with concern to them. Concentrate on them if you want to think of it that way. It's called attunement among mages and things. And if you were to attune to an item, you can only do so to so many. I believe the explanation in 5e is what, 3? Or 4?
Yes.
Forget the number.
It's
Exactly.
3.
3. I thought it was 3. This, and then she sort of, she indicates the ring and she goes, if you were to have this magical, wonderful ring in your possession, you will get yourself another attunement slot.
How does it work? Does it take up an attunement spot?
That would literally defeat the entire point.
Silver, give me an insight roll.
Where's my insight? There it is. 14.
14? Yeah, you get the sense that for some sort of item of this sort of caliber to work that way, it would have to do precisely what you said. It is actually a joke item. It is a ring of attunement. It gives you an extra attunement slot, but costs an attunement slot to use.
Everything about this item pisses me off.
Oh, I'm using it in my next game.
Everything about that pisses me off. That is mean. You are a mean man.
What does the price tag say, by the way?
More than it
Price
should.
tag says 100 gold.
That's 100 gold too much.
Does the shopkeep watching her? Or went back to doing whatever?
Shopkeep is just smiling at Silver. Not really like watching her, just sort of smiling at you as a lot of this discussion was sort of internal. There's not been a whole lot of time passing in game. But
So what is it you need, Lock and Young?
You mean Oak and Young?
Oak and Young? Yeah? Names?
I was I was going to see if she had a few more potions and other such things. And Young, this is Oak. I was going to see if she had a few potions, and Young says, and I was going to see if I could figure out a way for her to enchant my gauntlets. But other than that, I mean, stuff in here looks kind of interesting.
I'm sitting here trying to get the shopkeepers to direct their attention to them.
After a moment, the little kid, Willows, disappears, and then there's a clatter in the back of the shop, and she's, damn it, and she'll run to the back of the shop and disappear.
Summer's just gonna go and flip the price upside down.
So it's 001?
Yes.
Oh.
Alright. I mean, you're not entirely sure how much traffic a place like this gets, but that seems
Yeah,
reasonable.
whatever.
Yeah. Young
Is there
sort of
anything
tilts her
else?
head. Young sort of tilts her head looking at you, like, wait, what? Shakes her head.
It's supposed to give you another attunement slot, but it allows you to officiate to another item, but it seems like this requires that spot. So
It is
So it does
literally
nothing.
pointless.
it's kind of pointless.
Right. Okay. Suddenly, she sort of looks at Oak, and I'm not sure if I want to have her work on my gauntlet.
Well, let's take a look around. Maybe we might actually find something.
You find yourself, after you look around a little bit more, you find a very, elegant, cloak, or, cape. It seems like woven of purple silk. It's a beautiful looking cloak. And then the little label on the side of it says, 100 gold, cloak of billowing. Mm-hmm.
The fucking cloak of billowing comes into the campaign.
I will say that I came up with that before Wizards of the Coast.
Yep.
They got it from you.
Doubt
I
that.
think
Unless
Cad
they
would
were
like this.
random shack in Washington.
Young, do you
sort
think
of-
Cad would like this?
Well, Cat or Bjorn, maybe. Either one, really.
Oh, Bjorn would
True.
want it.
Definitely.
But I don't have 100 gold.
Yeah, we're kind of low on gold right now.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't know how we're gonna pay for potions.
I mean, I could get one, says Oak. That's about it. And, I mean, we were thinking of maybe somehow setting up some sort of a deal with her with regards to, enchanting items, because if we do make use of, helping Razo and the teleportation circles and things, it's going to be incredibly easy for us to go back and forth to here,
Maybe? Don't know.
I would think. I would hope.
That's the thing.
Unless,
Is there any way we can earn some quick money around here?
I mean,
Because I would kind of prefer to have more than one potion.
yeah. Seems like a lot of people, or at least she, is much more high dollar stuff, even if it is not useful.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Silver also flips the the amount on the cloak.
Oh, you did the same thing to it?
Yep, just flipping it.
I'm
I'm thinking it's just sitting there. It's like a little card sitting next to it.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
So
I
it's
didn't know
like
whether
a
or not
price tag.
the tag was actually attached to it or what.
It's like a little display tag, like you'd have sort of like a. I mean, for lack of a better way to put it, it's kind of like when you would put a little display on a note card for a flea market, like that.
Okay.
It's very easy to tamper and mess with for those that would wish to do so.
Okay.
And as you go down to sort of mess with the cloak, you see that it seems to be kind of almost buried in amongst the cloaks. And there is a very thick blanket of some kind is hanging out behind the cloaks.
Can't you give it a little tug on it?
Comes free. You can get out from behind it, and you have in your possession a very furry blanket.
A furry blanket.
Or, well, a very warm blanket.
Ah, this looks warm.
Yeah, it does. I wonder what that is.
I don't know.
It appears, sort of taking a closer look at it, it seems to be fairly solid, very warm, a little patchy in places, as if some of the material has been changed or replaced. Some of it's brown, some of it's sort of a dull peach, or not peach, like a dull tan color, slightly off brown. Doesn't seem as if a lot of it is in the same sort of consistency as the rest of the blanket.
Silver's gonna take it up to the counter and be like, "Ma'am, no."
There is another clatter, and then all of a sudden 40 rolled in your face.
Yeah.
Hello. Waves at you.
Hi, child.
Bellows, get back here. And then Mother is there, and she grabs him. Sorry.
What is this?
Oh, that? Well, that explains why Willows was willing to jump in your face like that. Must have somehow knew that one of his favorite toys was found.
Oh, it's a toy?
Well, not really. It is useful, but it's one of his favorite things in the shop to mess around with. It's called a blanket of fortitude.
Blanket of fortitude.
Mm-hmm.
Young, do you think Locke would like this? It looks warm.
I mean,
He complains about the cold a lot.
he does, but at the same time, Cat already got him this sort of woolly fur cloak.
That's, yeah. I mean, so he doesn't have to be running around on...
No, and then the woman sort of speaks up and she's, no. Now, that's not just a warm blanket. It's magical, like most everything else in here.
How much is it?
She sort of looks down at her little kid in her arms and she's, you know what? he sort of messes with it and I've had to repair it way too much. So we'll go 40 gold. How about that? Surely you can get some of your friends to work together and you can grab it if that's what you want. Now, and she sort of shakes her head as if she's goes back in from mama mode to salesperson mode. And she's, what it does is anyone who has possession of that blanket and then chooses to, throw the blanket to get comfortable or whatever, instead of having just a blanket, a very warm, nice tent or patchwork home, something like that. Yes, it's large enough to hold enough
Then why is it
people
called a blanket?
Because that's what it is. I mean, look at it.
But you make a tent out of it.
Well, what? You want it to be called a tent of fortitude? I wasn't the one that named it, okay? I'm just the one who's selling it. I'm just the one who's selling it.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'll give you 40 gold.
Okay. Silver paying 40 gold now has a blanket of fortitude. Do you put the blanket in your bag?
Yeah.
Little small child will now whine very loudly. And Oak is like, yeah. We might, take our leave now? Young, do you still want some sort of magical something? She sort of looks like she's got a lot more to take care of than trying to work on something magical. So, yeah. We can head out and leave then.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'll give him another one of his toys and he'll bounce back. He'll be perfectly fine.
I was about to say, if you made a chase scene with a toddler Blinkling chasing Silver all across town, teleporting to try and get his blankie back, I would love it.
It would just end up her holding up the child by its, I don't know, onesie, just
I mean, yeah.
Children are scary, man. You kidding?
Yeah.
Especially magical ones.
Especially ones that can teleport.
The price one pays for being an innately magical race. Little kids that can do that crap. So with that, you guys make your way to leave the shop known as Floririel. And you will sort of meet back up, or start to be making your way to meet back up with Locke and Bjorn. And in the process of doing so, you come into contact with a somewhat familiar figure. The halfling that was the guard outside and that you ended up indirectly kicking twice.
I didn't kick him. I just kicked the door next to him.
You kicked the door next to him, which made him fall.
And then I kicked the door again into him.
And then you kicked the door into him. Yeah, that seems about right.
So you sort of making your way through town to meet back up with Locke and Bjorn. The halfling is now approaching you, Silver.
Oh,
I call
and-
in.
oh, good. Great. Okay.
You're in trouble.
And
What?
the interesting thing about this halfling is he's not by himself.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
He
Oh,
has
no.
with him
How many more people?
just one.
Just one other person?
Um,
okay.
Just
Is
one
it
other
7 foot
person.
tall, though?
He has just one other person with him, a very stout-looking gnome, male, and this gnome is not small.
Why is
By
he not
ways of-
small?
By ways of what's probably magic, the stout gnome is now medium-sized, enlarged person.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That only lasts for a minute.
It does only last for a minute for a person who knows magic, but
Oh, joy.
still.
Enhancement.
So yeah, the two of them will approach the three of you and the NPCs, and he's like, "Hi, yes, I found you again. You were staying in town longer. Razzo did enlighten me of that. Good. So remember the first day you came. Remember the first day you came through and how I said I would waive that fee for you and your friends to come into town. Yeah, so I did then, but you stayed for 2 extra days. So 10 gold, please." Sort of
No.
holds his hand out to you. No.
That's at this point, that is extortion.
Extortion?
Yes. You allowed us into your city and then you came and fined us and is now trying to force us to pay. We're already paying to stay at an inn. We don't need to pay you.
Yes, but Razzo is paying for your stay at the inn. And you didn't pay for
Still.
coming here.
You're the one that allow us. So technically it's on you. So it should come out of your paycheck if they want their money so bad.
So that means I just gotta get my friend here to rough you up a bit. The oversized gnome sort of cracks his knuckles. Yeah, that.
So I'm assuming you haven't heard of where we're from.
Not
So-
here. That's the main thing. Does the
No duh. Locke, Young, what do you think?
We're not here. I'm not
Well,
there.
Yang is.
Oak, Young.
Young sort of like, you're in armor. He's not. You've dealt with rougher people before. You're probably not even going to remotely be. I mean, Oak.
I know.
Would it be a bad
I'm
thing
just
for her
waiting.
to?
Just take as long as we need to talk about this, can't we?
I mean, I suppose.
So, she's just standing there and crosses her arms, waiting. Basically trying
You
to
are
convince
going-
them to, like, let's just talk about this and stuff, because
Mm-hmm.
trying to see if any way to get the gnome back to smaller size. Because
Uh,
that's not right. She's like, that's not right. What is the reasoning for you trying to extort us? Other than the fact is that we're staying longer. Do you go and do this to every visitor that comes in?
Out of town, yes. Out of or away from this continent, you know. People who are visiting this area, maybe not, but those who.
So,
Okay.
specifically, people who are not from this country, correct?
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Hmm.
Silver, make a persuasion check.
A persuasion check?
Mm-hmm. Because you are intimidating looking.
9!
I mean, well, you could do
9?
intimidation if you wanted to do
Well,
that.
if it's no, she hasn't done anything to cause for intimidation.
True.
She's just sitting there trying to just talk
Okay.
and waiting to see
So-
if they do anything.
Yeah. So, the oversized gnome is going to charge you. What you gonna do?
Okay.
Rolls for B, athletics or acrobatics or however you want to try to dodge. He's basically going to do a grapple, or try to.
It's gonna be athletics. Ah!
Okay. So, similar to the event with the when you were charging the elephant earlier, oversized gnome hits a brick wall of armor and silver.
Is this really necessary?
And now that he
Also,
is
how
closer,
far away is the other guy? The halfling? me?
Well, he's only a couple paces away from you, so he's within range if you wanted to do some sort of melee something. He's probably a little less than 10 feet away.
Oh,
Easily.
okay, that's all I needed.
I know.
Okay.
So, and the oversized gnome, he sort of gets he's charged into you. You basically full body block, and you're just like, no.
Yeah, it just like kind of pushes them back and be like, this is not necessary. I'm not gonna pay you. We don't have to pay you.
He sort of backs up, and he's like, boss. His voice
Boss, it
magically
didn't
made
work.
deeper.
Boss.
Boss, I think I've told you I'm not your boss. Well, fine, whatever. I don't think we should mess with her.
Oh, you don't think so? What gave you that idea?
Well, you're not quite sure, Silver, other than the obvious thing of you stopped him from charging at you.
I'm sure anyone else could have stopped him.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, okay. So
Go ahead.
no intimidation needed. The gnome sort of stumbles backwards, and it's at that point that the lovely enlarged person he had going drops, because minute. And he's like, yeah,
if you're not gonna do anything else, can me and my friends go? We got shit to do today.
he sort of just runs off.
Oh, well, there's your answer.
And
that was anticlimactic.
Yeah, bite. Bark is worse than spite.
The halfling's like, okay, fine.
You can try.
How about no? Bye. And he runs. Bjorn and
pathetic.
Bjorn and Locke, you come back up onto the rest of the group as this halfling's running off again. And the gnome. You see a gnome and the halfling go running away from Silver and the NPC party members.
Did we miss something?
Yeah, that was the gnome that was at the guarding of the gate. You know, the one that I kicked the door into when he tried coming into the tavern?
Yeah?
Yeah. He just tried to extort us for money.
Oof.
Because we didn't pay when we came in.
Oof, poor decision.
Nothing really happened.
Young
I don't understand.
Young sort of looks around, sort of eyes things a little bit, and sees, I'm beginning to not particularly trust this town, even less than I did to start with.
The guy Razzo made it clear that there's like crime all over this city. I mean, if we want to take a day, we can go and clean it.
She just Young just sort of looks around and then, I mean,
I'm sure
whatever.
There's plenty of money.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm sure not everyone in here is corrupt. Sure, she was selling some weird stuff, but I don't think.
Oh, she's fine. She's not corrupted.
Well, did
anyway.
your folks' shopping yield anything? I sort of gestured down at my new armor. I got new digs.
Nice. Maybe you'll get hurt less.
That would be wonderful. I don't like being hurt.
Right. Just don't try to catch a boulder with your face, okay?
I mean, I usually don't.
Yeah, let's not do that, says Oak.
Usually don't, because you're rubbish at it.
Is Cat back yet?
Well, I mean, the group can finish up from that and make their way back to the tavern.
Sure.
Well, unless there's something else. Can I make an investigate to see what other stores are around?
Sure. Roll investigation.
9.
Can I assist?
Was it really a 9? I was about to say 9.
Can I lend assistance to turn that into advantage?
Yeah, sure.
Sweet. 9.
9. There is
Really?
one. She rolled a 6, so it's with advantage, and it's still the 9.
9.
So, you sort of look around a moment, and you do see another shop. It's like right across the street from where you guys are sort of standing, sort of in between the areas of between the Twisted Scythe and the Real Magic Shop. And it has the little indicator to tell you it is some sort of perhaps tailor, and it is called the Big Shawl.
Well, we were thinking about getting Cat a new suit.
Well, that's the thing. We need him here for that. We can point him over here if we need to, once we see him again.
Let's head back to the watering hole and regroup, I guess.
Yep.
Do you want a blanket?
What?
Locke?
What?
Do you want a blanket?
I'm going to roll an insight check because Locke is suspicious now. That is a very fucking weird question to come out of Silver's mouth.
Yes, it is.
9?
Wow.
She's truthful. It's like, do you want a blanket?
Sure.
She gives him the blanket of fortitude.
Right. Yep.
You
have a nice, furry, warm-looking patchwork blanket. Mm-hmm.
It's a tent.
What?
It might help you protect you from the cold.
Wait, it's a.
It's a
no.
tent.
Oak and Young were there. Never mind.
Yeah. It's a tent. Just don't ask. The lady says it's a tent. I paid 40 gold for this. And I took it from some 4-year-old kid, apparently. Just take it.
Locke's face is just getting increasingly confused and distraught with everything Silver says. He's just sort of staring
Who's the
at
corrupt one?
He's just staring at this blanket now with this almost horrified look, and he just blinks and his eyes turn purple, and I'm casting Detect Magic again.
It's a magic blanket. That's a tent.
So, you cast Detect Magic.
Yes.
The blanket is indeed very, 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 very magical. Not like an intense, powerful magic necessarily, but a very strong present one. And it seems to be of, I guess it would technically be, I don't think the environment is real, because it changes on a whim, kinda. So, illusion magic, yes.
Huh. I would figure enchantment, but okay.
Following that, you guys make your way back into the tavern. And once you have made your way inside, you see it's now, Cad probably left in the earlier part of the morning when everyone was waking up, and then, you sort of were wandering around town for a little bit and had some minor fun things. So it's probably around noon-ish about this time. And Cad has made his way back.
Woo!
And Cad already has a new attire.
Oh.
Thankfully, you guys don't actually have to get him one. A swanky sort of monk sort of attire. Cad has
I
him a
have
new
to
outfit.
still look dapper.
And of course, he still has his entertainment hat. But he's not using it right now.
Yay! Can we have a ever so brief flashback of what I did?
This little flashback sequence starts up with Cad and Tontu exiting Mork and making their way north and ever so slightly east to the temple in question. And
what did she tell me in Loxodon again?
right, when she had spoken to you in Loxodon prior during the fight with the dragon, and had said that you said you were a Loxodon and that you were from Caverton, but you didn't look like a Caverton Loxodon. You looked like a Loxodon from Yvonne. And she said she was going to speak with somebody at the temple that she lives at and stays at. And she was either going to perhaps send you a message via cleric magic, or she was going to come and see you with the intent to hopefully have some of the folks that she knows at the temple to meet you and talk to you, because not only did you have the figure and stature of a Yvonne Loxodon, your name also seemed familiar to her, but she couldn't place why. She wanted to go and talk to some other people at the Loxodon temple and then perhaps bring you with the following day.
Gotcha.
And then when she came down and spoke to you in the tavern in Loxodon, when you as a player weren't here, the conversation that she had there was that she did a little bit of asking around, and it was eventually decided that you were going to go and talk to the matriarch, so to speak, of the Loxodon tribe temple, however you want to phrase it. She was to bring you back to the temple, sort of show you around, and then you're going to hopefully go and speak to said matriarch, assuming that you're okay with doing so.
I imagine I would be. I don't know why I wouldn't.
Yep. And the Loxodon matriarch she did give you a name. The Loxodon matriarch was Madame Valley, Vally, Madame Valley. Making your way north and slightly east. And it's not too terribly far away from Mork proper, though if you didn't know where you were going, it's not got a like before when you were traveling from the docking city to Mork, you were walking along the road. It doesn't have a distinct like road path like a lot of the other places do. And so you're sort of off the path a little bit to head away from the road that leads out of Mork. So if you didn't know what you were
are we walking just blindly into the snow?
Well, it's not necessarily as snowy currently, although there is a subtle bit of snow still falling. It's just not like a blizzard. But you're also not going blindly. She very much knows where she's going.
Gotcha.
But if you, like I said, if you didn't know where you were going, or there was a heavy snowstorm, yeah, it would be hard for you to find.
Gotcha.
So you're following along with her, and you make your way up, and then after a moment, you are presented with a temple and with a small village around it, and the structure and architecture of this place is a little bit hard to describe. I wanted it to be sort of unique, being that it was a sort of a like buildings and designs of Loxodon heritage and whatnot. Due to the nature of the fact that Loxodons have stone cutting, most of the buildings are made out of stone, because of course they are.
Makes sense to me.
Stone and clay, which, with your understanding and knowledge of stone cutting, it wouldn't be a hard leap in logic for you to easily ascertain that most of that stone and clay is probably in and around from the immediate area. So sort of gathered from, well, not immediate area, but sort of gathered from like the mountain ranges and things in Avon and that kind of thing. And the overall architecture, for some reason, I wanted it to be somewhere between like Shaolin Monastery and African tribe. I don't know why, but that was sort of a weird blend in my brain that I thought would be cool.
Okay.
There's you see something that Cad's not really been necessarily accustomed to, which is a lot of Loxodons, most of which are not in any kind of heavy armor, all gathered together. Cad's been around Loxodons before, but they were usually peppered all throughout of Caverton, or a lot of them in armor when he was in like the guards barracks or whatever. So this is the first time he's really seen his kind, his kin, and a lot of them all gathered together in one area. Some of them that are gatherers, some of them that may be hunters of some persuasions. Ibon is a very harsh environment. The fact that this temple and village can survive and not really appear to have any of the same amenities that the other towns in Ibon had. It doesn't have the big tall tower that would keep the snow and, like weather tower to keep the snow and harsh environments away. It doesn't have a distinct like wall or anything like that. So yeah, the folks here are hardy. That's not to say that, even in saying that the only folks that are here are Loxodon. There are a few of the other races here, just not as many.
That's interesting.
So there's when you're looking around, you do see a human or two that's among them. Occasionally you see a halfling, or even, but not very many. We're talking.
Do they look like do they look like members or do they look like visitors or travelers?
The Blinklings are usually the human, the two humans in amongst the group, and those two humans look like they are permanent residents. They're wearing the same kind of attire that the rest of the Loxodon are.
Okay.
But the gnomes, or not the gnome, the Blinkling seems to be perhaps some sort of merchant. He doesn't necessarily have the same attire. So he may not necessarily reside here, but the human does.
Okay.
And then another thing that strikes you as interesting is sort of flanking the entryway to the big, primary building of this place, the temple itself. You see two statues, very much like the typical kind of statues. I think that particular image of a Shaolin temple doesn't have the statue things, but you do see two clay statues that are flanking the entryways to the temple, and one of which seems to be a Loxodon of some persuasion, but the other one on the left side, at first glance, appears to be some kind of dog, like straight up wild canine dog, rather than a Loxodon. Tantu sort of watching you to see what you sort of think of the area, and she sort of speaks up. Volley will be found in the main temple there, but if you want to explore the town a little bit, we do have the typical kind of shops that you would imagine that most towns would have. We're just not nearly as complicated, and our merchants not always here. She sort of eyes the Blinkling that had just passed by a second ago. Yeah, you are free to perhaps explore a little bit or look around, or Tonto will just lead you right into the temple itself.
Well, I mean, I guess being the guest, I would be following her lead. If she's inviting me to look around, then I might, but if she's leading me, I'm not going to just wander off. That'd be incredibly rude.
True. She then, after a bit, we can explore, or we can go to the temple. I sort of leave that up to you. I can sort of show you around, or we can go straight to Madame Volley.
I mean, I imagine it's pretty fascinating to Cad to see all of the people around, all of the friendly sort of faces or whatever. So.
Oh yeah, and they all do seem they're not giving you any kind of strange or odd looks or anything like that. They do have a very welcoming presence about them. And even if your overall attire is less than good at the moment, which on that, there is a male Loxodon that is sort of making his way by as you're sort of looking up towards the temple and trying to decide where to go, and he's got one of those the basket backpack kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's got one of those on his back, and inside the basket there is what appears to be all manner of cloth and furs and other such things. He very much seems to be, at least from what he's carrying, someone that either works with or works as a tailor. And he sort of sees you and raises an eyebrow and goes, "Tantu, do you have a new friend?" And Tantu's like, he's just visiting for the moment, but yeah. And then he sort of waves a thumb towards one of the structures nearby, and goes, if you do feel like you want to have a new robe or two to fix your suit there, feel free to walk into my shop here. I think we can get you set up if you would like.
Sure. It's probably been a while since I've actually paid much attention to my attire, and raging and all that is probably rather tattered for a suit.
He sort of smiles, and battle can do harsh things to attire not well designed for it. But I think we can get you set up if you want to come by later.
Sure.
And then he wanders off and goes into the shop nearby. Make for me a perception check. Oh.
So it
nice.
smells like a 24, but it looks like a 17.
Okay. As he makes his way and wanders into the shop, you could swear that for the briefest second, there is a person, not maybe a halfling, that is actually in and amongst the cloths in the basket on his back as he walks inside. You see that in the basket that's on his back, he may or may not have had a small humanoid, perhaps a halfling, that was in the basket as he went inside the shop.
Okay.
And Tantu just she smiles, and he's a rather friendly sort, and he will most definitely get you set up with a new robe or suit. Would you be okay with a robe such as the ones I'm wearing, or the ones we are wearing here?
How did you say they looked?
It's very monk robes, sort of the
like a gi.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. It's very much the gi, and very flowy and easy to move around in, and things like that. It's it could be made the right way. It could look rather dashing, but in particular with Tantu's version, Tantu seems to focus more on function rather than appearance.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's definitely leans more towards the gi sort of style.
I mean, yeah, that would be fine.
Tantu just sort of nods, and then you guys will make your way into the temple itself. If you are ready for that. And once you enter and you're inside, it is very much a circular sort of not ultra well, it very much does look like what it is. It looks like a church or temple of some persuasion. It's just very round. And in the back, or towards like the altar kind of area in the middle, you see a very old female Loxodon that is doing the meditation sort of pose thing, very much like Tantu's token was. And she is actually ever so subtly floating off the ground a bit, and you do see the makings of the ancestral protectors spirits that are sort of waving around her as you two are making your way inside.
Interesting.
And she, though the spirits do look like the ones that's been described as, your ancestral protectors, though you've never seen your own, of course, she doesn't appear to be in ragey mode of any persuasion. She appears to be very calm.
Interesting.
So, and Tantu sort of smiles and, okay, she will be done with her discussion in a moment, and we can just wait. She knows we're here. She's rather perceptive. Not to mention the spirits will tell her if someone showed up as well. So just give her a moment and she will speak with us. And she will actually, soon after she says that, she will actually kneel before where all these spirits and Vali is sort of floating. And she will do the very respectful kneel to, not necessarily to royalty, but very much a nobility kind of thing. It's very clear that said Madame Vali is the matriarch for a reason.
Alright, so I guess I'm waiting on her then.
Yep. After a moment, the spirits, they do turn to look to you, some of them. And you see that they're not creepy or strange or weird or anything like yours are, or like yours have been said to be. And they also do not look anything like Vali of any persuasion, matching with what Bjorn was talking about before when he said that yours look like yourself. None of these Loxodons that are floating around Vali look like Vali. And actually, with the... I would imagine that even though, you know, to like you or me in real life, the sort of facial features of a Loxodon are always very similar. But to a person of that race, it would be easier to see differences in subtle little differences in the face. One of the you only saw it for a brief moment because you didn't really look much into it, but one of the spirits floating around Vali does appear to be very, very similar to the Loxodon that was the statue outside.
Oh no, she's the Avatar.
In a lot of ways, Ancestral Protectors kind of matches that a little bit. I mean, it does. Especially when you lean into the, like, consulting spirits avenue of their thing. After a moment, the spirits sort of disperse, and Vali slowly comes to... She sort of just floats down slowly and rests on the, it's very much like the sort of Asian tatami mat kind of thing. The little, like, soft mats that one would use for, like, meditation and stuff.
Right.
And she will then open her eyes and sort of look around, and she'll see Tantu kneeling before her. Welcome, Tantu. Thank you for bringing our new friend. What did you think of the temple, Kaduril?
It's very interesting. I've never seen anything like it before.
You say that you... well, Tantu had told me that you grew up on Gradiriel, yes?
Yes.
You don't remember ever being anywhere else other than Gradiriel?
Nope. Well, until I met up with my friends and we started to travel around a bit, but no, my whole life I was in Caberton.
And what did you do in Caberton?
I guess I'd sort of look down a little bit and then look back up. Like clerical work, bookkeeping, and whatnot for the inner circle there.
That explains the rather proper and formal garb, though it is in tatters.
He sort of finds some little bit of something and like brushes it off. Yeah.
So, did they teach you to fight in Caberton then?
Yeah, they tried to. I wasn't really good at it though.
How so?
they were trying to train me to be a part of the guard, and I just wasn't getting it. And then one day, they decided to reassign me because, well, I don't actually know. But one day after I was sparring with someone, I guess I sort of blanked out for a moment, and afterwards everyone was standing around me looking frightened, and they said that it just wasn't meant for me, so that's why I got reassigned off of training to be a guard.
I see. I have heard stories from others and such that the Loxodon and Gradiriel don't necessarily... We have a different look than them here on Yvonne. The Loxodon on Gradiriel have been described as being a lot less hardier. They aren't necessarily exposed to the elements as much as those of us up here, and they also seem to have somewhat smaller frames or builds. It strikes me as interesting that you, being a Loxodon from Caverton, you look a lot more like a Loxodon from here.
I've never been here as far as I'm aware.
Was your family, they look like the Loxodon there? Did they look like you?
Say what?
Basically, did your family in Caverton look like the Loxodon of Caverton, or did they look like an Iban Loxodon? Which, thinking about it based on what she said, you never really picked up on it or worried about it because it was never really important to you. But yeah, your father, or at least the person who raised you, was he looked like all the other Loxodon did in Caverton. And you, a lot of your past from before you really started training, we never really fleshed out per se, but it was sort of thought that I sort of thought that you were pushed into working with the guard a little bit from your dad. You never really knew your mom, and yeah, it was your dad that wanted you to be a guard, and then you couldn't really be a guard very well, and then once you started doing the clerical and business stuff so much, you sort of lost touch with your dad and never really spoke to him again. So, yeah. But in the answer to her question would be that your dad... It may be a little strange, Kaduril, to say so, but several years ago, there was a young Loxodon here in Iban at this temple that he was extremely young. He was given the same name, Kaduril, and then one night, for really no reason that we could determine, he just vanished. We never saw him. I find it possible that perhaps you are that Kaduril.
How long ago was this?
It would match up to
my approximate age or whatever.
Yeah. If it is indeed you, it would match up, which, I mean, obviously for sake of drama, idiots, but it approximately matches up with what your age is, which I don't remember what we put for Cad's age.
I imagine that he'd be about 40-ish then.
That's what I was
thinking. Because that would still be considered young.
Yeah, among Loxodon, that would still be considered young. So yeah. With that, then she will say, a little less than 40 years ago. At that time, our Kaduril was mere toddler, and he just vanished. We searched around the immediate area to try to find him, but we could never figure out what happened. Have you had any other, perhaps, strange experiences in your life, or odd things go on, or are you just traveling with friends now to adventure, as some would?
At one point, I was incarcerated for something I'm not aware of exactly the reason. And my friends from town I was traveling with, the young one among them, he is the one who helped actually grant me my freedom again. And he's just a wee old lad, so I'm trying to protect him.
She will actually, I'm not sure if Cad said it exactly like that, but she will actually...
Probably not like wee old lad, but yeah, he's... I don't want it to sound like condescending, like he's a shrimp, so... But, he's young, he's small, I wanted to protect him since he helped me.
Yeah. So she will actually smile and chuckle at that statement quite a bit. And let's see, perhaps even subconsciously, you were a bit like the Loxodons from here anyway, then.
We're inside. Who else is inside with us?
It's just you, Tontu, and Vali.
Okay.
Well,
I don't know that Cat would necessarily say anything specific to that.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily want to destroy what life you may have had back in Caverton, but should you ever make your way back there, perhaps it might behoove us to find out precisely what happened. You're adventuring now then, yes? With a few friends and traveling around, perhaps around the world, if not just through Caverton or Gradiriel and Iban.
Well, you said adventuring, currently somewhat misadventuring. We ended up in this area kind of by accident, and we're trying to get back home. But yeah, we've been traveling around quite a lot.
And among the folks that you're traveling with now, do you use that training that you had as a guard to fight and protect them then?
I think being asked in that way, Kaduril would probably look down and just sort of nod. Yeah.
If I may ask, precisely how did the Loxodon of Caverton fight?
So here's where Kaduril goes into an anecdotal spiel about like all the ins and outs of his training that he clearly understands, even though apparently he doesn't.
He understands how it's supposed to be. He just doesn't quite understand why it doesn't work that way for him exactly.
Yeah. Basically, just shy of being too meta and cringy of, well, most of them are level 3 barbarians that have this technique, and, you know.
Right.
But, I mean, he could sort of describe sufficiently enough.
Do you detail with her in doing that description, specifically how you're different? Or do you just detail how they trained you to fight, and that when you fight, you oftentimes black out? Because you've already mentioned some of that earlier.
Yeah, I did touch on that, and I would say that Kaduril would have some body language when she's asking certain things that might be perceived or incited. but I would say that his description would be pretty by the book. This is how it is supposed to be conducted with this step and this kind of training and this kind of offense. And he would be more the bookworm reciting, this is how it's supposed to be and all this.
Right. Okay. I wouldn't necessarily want to pry into the details, but if there is a strangeness to the way that you fight, it seems as though the people in Caverton do still fight in a similar capacity to the Loxodon here. We do tend to use the same sort of ancestral protectors and guardians, the heritage, fighting alongside those that used to fight to protect. We all fight to protect. That's why I brought up the statement before.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps it is connected. The fact that you may be this Kaduril that disappeared, and you have a very different way, perhaps, that your protectors have any of your friends commented on them when you've raged, even if you may have not seen them yourself?
Again, he would sort of look down and nod. Yeah. I've been told that they had at times soul-piercing glares that were not focused on our enemies. They were focused on the one I was trying to protect. But apparently it was highly unsettling. And for a time it actually scared me out of trying to use them. And I've also had it brought to my attention, which, thanks to that, I actually notice it more when I look around and see you and others around here doing the same kind of techniques. Apparently, I've been told that mine look like copies of myself, perhaps in different garb, but I've been told that more standard, the more standard version of that is that it's actually your ancestors, and of course your ancestors don't look exactly like yourself, so I don't really know what to make of that, because I never actually remember seeing them.
I see. You believe that that may be a very strong connection. The fact that maybe this Kaduril that's gone, you don't know if you are in fact our Kaduril. You did not know your family as you were training. It wouldn't make sense for you to be able to call upon the ancestors that you don't know. You can summon something. You do summon some form of protectors that are just different.
Apparently.
I wouldn't want you to not use how you were trained to fight. Protecting others is extremely important. But does anyone in your party have the capacity to send messages long distance?
Yeah, Oak does, I believe.
I think
right.
The best... Yeah, you're right. I think the best course of action then is for you to continue your travels, protect your friends, as you have been doing, and if ever anything else comes up that gives you more insight or more knowledge to Guardians, let us know. And perhaps in your times and travels you may be able to figure out exactly what happened. But I do believe you may be our Kaduril.
If that were the case, that would leave a lot of questions. I don't know. Caberton's all I know.
As I said, I do not want to uproot you from the life that you live now, because we may have found. But I do want you to know that you or even your friends would be welcome here, should they ever need to stay here. I take it from the way Tantu described some of your friends that they're anxious to get home. Perhaps your little one is not as well equipped for this.
Sort of scratch the back of my head. Yeah, we're trying to make do, but I don't think the cold is as agreeable with him.
Well, as I said, you're welcome here, as are your friends, should you ever travel this way again. And I do look forward to learning more about you, Kaduril.
I'd give her sort of a sincere bow and thank you, Madam Folly. I appreciate your kindness.
Always. And she sort of goes back to goes back into a more meditative stance again. She doesn't start floating and she doesn't summon her spirits or anything, but she's back to that sort of meditative stance and relaxing. And now that, she's doing that and you've gotten a chance to perhaps seen her, talk to her a little bit, she does appear to be, the overall, aura about her is very strong and very calm. And get the sense that definitely a very wise and very strong individual.
Interesting.
And she's also rather old, obviously. And with that, Tantu will sort of guide you back out of the temple, and you will make your way outside again. And she's, once you've exited, Tantu's like, I knew I had heard your name before. I don't know why I didn't remember exactly where I had heard it before. It was back when I was young as well. A lot of us were going out and looking for you during that time. I'm glad that perhaps we've found you finally. But it's Madame Volley's decision to let you continue with your own path. But I wouldn't mind having you back here, Kaduril, if you ever desire to. You or your friends. Though I'm still not quite sure about your sparkly paladin friend that likes dragons.
I'm sorry about that. I didn't want to join her against you, but at the same time, I don't know. That is sort of instinct to put myself in between and try and stop the conflict. Sorry again.
No worries. I mean, it is in our nature. It is what we do. And she sort of, as you guys have exited the temple, she sort of gestures to the Loxodon statue that is next to the temple, and you see, and she sort of indicates for you that there is a small little plaque with some Loxodon, written Loxodon on the edge of the plaque, or on the bottom of the plaque, that says specifically, this. In memory of Ralade, the first protector, may we live by his example.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And you can sort of get the sense from his garb that what garb is on the statue, of course, that this was somebody who was very much accustomed to working in the wilds. The way that the intricacies of the details of the stonework, which is extremely well made, does appear to be mimicking that of like furs and hides and things of that nature that a more wilderness savvy individual would probably wear. To speak from a meta perspective, this particular person was probably a ranger. or at least on some level was a ranger. Anyway.
Since I'm not really being rushed and they're sort of hospitable, do you think Kaduril could pull out one of his books and sort of jot down the Loxodon words, the in memory of Hold on.
Ralaza.
Yeah. Could I jot that down and sort of try and roughly sketch something of the likeness of the statue?
Oh yeah, sure. That wouldn't take you too terribly long, and Tontu's not in any kind of hurry. She very much is into the idea that you are curious about this place and that you are willing to sort of jot down stuff like that. She'll very much smile at you wanting to jot that down.
Well, I mean, I'm thorough, and this is new, and
oh yeah, definitely. And she'll actually chuckle a little bit and go, "Well, you can't have the first protector without his best friend, or one of his best friends, I should say." And she indicates for you the statue of the canine that's across from him.
And so she's pointing out the canine-looking thing?
Yep, canine.
Is it actually canine sort of look, or is it like Kieran sort of look?
It's closer to canine. It looks very much like Cad's not necessarily been in and amongst the wilds all that much, but he's probably seen pictures and images and other such things. This doesn't appear to be a wolf. The stature of the creature is much more lean, but it does appear to be some sort of perhaps wild dog or other such thing. And the dog also has an inscription below him, which is this one: "In memory of Ulatok, noble guardian, may we always protect his kin."
And there's a guy outside of the place selling random puppies.
So, yep. Following that, she will make your way, or the two of you will make your way back towards the same shop that the tailor had went into, because you recall you were going to perhaps get an outfit or a new suit of some kind. You make your way that way. You make your way inside, and you find as you make your way in that there is the real big loom sewing things, and the Loxodon is sort of tending to that, and then there is, in fact, with said Loxodon behind the counter, there is a halfling that is sort of helping to tend the shop, and looks to be that she is doing the little finer details, the different outfits and things. Very much that these two work together as the sort of tailors for everyone's attire and outfits. And as you make your way inside, the Loxodon behind the counter sort of looks back and, "Oh, I suppose you're done with your discussion with Madame Volley then. Well, we did spend a little bit of time, but we do have something else here for you, assuming you don't want it in a different color." And he will present to you what is essentially a gi, or is similar to the is the outfit that we described Cat having back in the main session.
Okay, cool. I thank them and fetch out my coin purse.
The halfling, the halfling sort of smiles and chuckles. No, don't worry about that. It's on the house. It's a gift. You needed a new outfit anyway.
In the main session, didn't I say something like I was still wearing my tie or something? I can't remember.
I don't think we ever went into the specifics of what you were wearing with that.
Okay.
Because you were kind of on mute when we described you coming back in. So, I mean, but you could.
Gotcha.
But you could.
Okay.
We had me and you had discussed you potentially having that. So.
So I would probably change and once I put it on, it sort of fits, or however it fits, I guess. Look down at my pile of clothing and reaffix my tie around my neck. There.
The halfling smiles and sentimental value. That's important too. And it doesn't quite clash too bad, so you're all right then. And then, from there, they both give you a smile, and you're free to make your way back out. And I had described that you sort of left to go with her, in the earlier part of the morning, and then you sort of travel for like 30-45 minutes or so when you make your way up to the temple, and then 30-45 minutes to make your way back. And the point in which I was describing you making it back was around like noon or 1 or so. So for sake of brevity and things, you were probably traveling around and doing stuff for somewhere between 3 and 4 hours, assuming you got up at like 8 or 9. So, yeah. But yeah, in your traveling around to, speak to other people in town, there is an element of, you're pretty, you're pretty open about what you have going on. And Tontu had described that you were traveling with others that were, down in Mork. And some of the people in town, not all of them, but some of them bring it to your attention that you do want to be wary of Mork. Mork is an important place, but Mork is going through a lot of issues and strife right now, and they were basically, warning you to be careful of those in Mork, because not everybody is as altruistic as the Loxodon are.
Right, that makes sense.
And there's even one person in amongst the, he's probably somebody who is appeared not necessarily drunk, but a little tipsy maybe, day drunk, who knows, that speaks about saying that Mork shouldn't be ran by goblins or even halflings anyway. It should be ran by blinklings. But at his statement, Tontu just sort of rolls her eyes and is like, Mork is Mork, and we protect it. That's what matters. And Tontu sort of slowly begins making her way back to Mork.
He is. You find Cad there, and he's now got his new attire and things. Yeah. You have made your way back to the tavern. Silver already went a little bit of detail into subtly about her getting the blanket. Although that was an interesting something. Yeah, do you guys put that in the bag? Locke's not carrying the bag of holding, so is he just carrying the blanket?
I guess. I just have it rolled up under an arm.
Yeah. So Cad sees that Locke has him a very warm-looking blanket of some kind.
I'm slightly less useful. Aww.
It's a tent. You're fine.
Okay, didn't say that, but a high enough insight might yield that.
Fair enough. Alright. Alright. So Oak speaks up and he's, alright, well, we didn't really get a potion or anything. I was thinking of buying one, but the events that transpires after Silver brought that blanket made it a little bit more expedient for us to leave. Thinking of getting a potion. He was deliberating it in his head. And then you took the blanket and the kid was crying. He's like, okay, now we leave. and Young's sort of like, and here's hoping we don't have a random little kid appear out of nowhere as she sort of looks around.
Silver, did you knock on a door with your foot again?
No, actually.
No. We were respectful. Just going in there, I saw a lot of hinky things going on there. And saw this, and I was like, why not?
Why not take a poor little orphan's blanket?
Not orphan. He had his mom.
Not orphan.
His mom was there. And to be fair, the mom actually gave it to her cheaper because she was okay with her having it.
Granted, that was out of character, because I don't think that you guys discussed the details of the acquisition in front of me, did you?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Not as such.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So you have your the group is fully back together again. Hooray! And you still have like a couple hours of the day left because it's only like noon. You were supposed to be heading for your infiltration in the evening or at night. So you got maybe another 5 or 6 hours if you want to do something else with that, or we can just skip ahead depending on what you guys as players want to do.
So I guess upon seeing everyone come back in the tavern, I would ask them if they had an enjoyable town, and I sort of cast like a skeptical eye looking around us. Did you guys have a good time?
I mean, I did more or less.
That's good.
I mean, other than having a shop that was trying to sell items that were mostly pointless for extremely expensive, other than that, we're okay.
Yeah.
So, Rock, how did the excursion with your weaponsmith go? Did he? How much did he try to sell you the armor?
I pat the new armor I'm wearing and say, it was a lot cheaper than I was expecting.
Are we sure the armor's good?
I see no reason to. I see no reason to doubt it at the moment.
Okay. We don't really have a person in the group that's an armor person of any persuasion.
Now, if it's made of stone, I'm all over that.
Stone armor.
It's made of studded. It's a studded leather armor, so it's metal.
Yeah.
Metal and leather.
Studded leather armor. It's made of metal. What? Sorry.
Metal and leather. Man, shush.
I'm trying to think of useful things that are on my character sheet in my mind's eye. I'm like, I have stone cutting. Anyway, go ahead.
Right, I know. Yes.
I have stone cutting.
So,
I'm a big brave boy. Does that help? Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So, yes. Following that, yeah. Do you guys? Young sort of speaks up and goes, "Well, we saw some of the town's shops. I mean, we could explore more, or we could just sort of wait to see Razzo show up again."
I'd rather wait.
Do we even know where he went?
Not a clue. I'd rather wait.
Yep, that's the case. Silver has a rare hunch. She's gonna ask the bartender, "Hey, can I borrow one of your chairs real quick?"
He sort of gives you a look and is like, "Sure, okay."
Okay, she grabs a chair and goes outside and sits outside with it and just waits.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
No,
she's just gonna sit there and wait and see if anyone else comes and tries to bother her for money. This time she's quotations alone.
Silver, make for me a perception check.
18?
18?
Yes.
Okay. So you're sitting in a little chair just outside of the tavern.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of looking around, keeping an eye out, trying to see if, anyone is going to come around you to try to extort you or anything of that persuasion.
Yep.
Across the road from the tavern, like it would have been behind you when you came up from the gate.
Back.
You happen to notice that across the road from you there is a sort of almost like, it's not exactly a bulletin board, but it's like it almost looks like a quest board, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Although there don't seem to be a whole lot of quests on it right now. And you see from the distance of being across the road, but you rolled an 18 perception, you see a somewhat crudely drawn visage or drawing person of a person that is extremely familiar on one of the pictures on the quest board across the road.
Silver will get up and wander over to the quest board.
Yeah. It's a wanted poster.
Of who?
You.
Ah, great.
Mm-hmm.
Silver looks around. Does anyone notice her?
Currently there's no one around that you can see, no.
Yeah, she takes it off.
Okay.
Who was the poster of again?
Herself.
Her?
Somehow I got over here. Take it off and go back to her chair.
Alright. As you sit there and wait, assuming no one else really comes out to do anything with you as far as the actual player group, what is the rest of the party in the tavern doing? Just gonna sit there and maybe eat donuts because lock?
Donuts! Yes. Because I have just...
Do you want donuts out of the bag, or
we have
donuts?
We have so many donuts. Let's just have some of the excess we have before they get stale.
Okay, tell me how many donuts you want. that you're going to eat so I can subtract it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
How many
Silver
donuts do you
pulls
want?
out 100 and hands them over. Here,
Yeah,
Kat.
let's say 3, and if anyone wants any, I'll be happy to dish those out too.
Okay, so there's 120 donuts left.
Jesus
Hooray.
fucking Christ.
There's
So,
coin.
Okay,
hear
that's
select 3 and give the rest to Locke.
No. All right. So, Locke, you have your donuts. Is Bjorn and Cad just gonna sit in the tavern?
I'll probably be writing in a journal. Or writing in a book or whatever.
Bjorn will be getting some mead into his system.
After an hour or two, with Silver having just sat outside, Yong will wander out that way, and she's, everything okay, Silver?
And she hands the wanted poster over and be like, yeah, should be fine.
Oh, well, that's good, I guess.
I don't know, maybe.
I suppose with, if this place does have a strong connection back to Caverton, this does kind of make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, we sent the halfling from before, when we sent him this way. It was from Terrence, and then Terrence said he was going to send him to being a blinkling. Maybe this is what Terrence was talking about. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. But I don't
Okay,
know how
well,
many other quest boards are around, so...
At least here, for a smaller town like this, I would imagine they'd only have one. I can go and look around if you want me to.
I don't know, this town seems a little bit big. I would say maybe 2.
I don't know. Want to just chill here by yourself, see if anybody tries to make do on that bounty? You will let us know if something happens, right?
I'm right outside the door. I'm sure if I get into a fight, you'll hear.
Sure. Okay. Well, so, Silver, I have a weird question.
Yes.
Seeing as how he fights very similarly to you, would you say that, Bjorn does a better job at keeping everyone safe, fighting than, I don't know, me?
Do you want the answer first, or can I ask another question?
Sure. Question's fine.
Do you think you're not worth being around this group?
I don't know. I haven't really done a whole lot useful, really.
Or useful? Do you help take care of the warden in Caverton?
Did I?
You unlocked the back door for us, I think.
I'm not sure if that was me or if that was, Locke or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't...
It's just a lot of people in this group are better at doing things than I am. And I guess it's because I'm not so, focused in one thing, but...
I'm not focused on one thing myself.
No, but I don't know, just some of that seems to come to you just naturally, and then the rest of it is training, whereas mine is 2 very different forms of training, I don't know. I'm don't worry about it, and she will make her way back in.
Yeah.
Jeep went on inside.
Okay.
And then, 15 minutes later, she comes back out. Do you still want me to go look around town, see if there's any more message boards or quest boards or whatever?
Smooth dodge. Smooth dodge, dwarf.
Do what?
Silver chuckles and be like, no, it should be fine. But what you can do is go over to the quest board over there and actually see if there's anything else up there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. She makes her way over to the quest board.
And Silver just watches.
She sort of looks over the quest board for a little bit, and then she comes back. The only thing I could really find that didn't appear to be, something that someone had already ripped off the quest board. There was one of the other shops in town was. She sort of has the paper and she's looking through it. One of the other shops in town, something called the Green Order. I don't know.
Okay.
They were wanting somebody to gather things, do a small little trivial gathering mission for herbs and stuff. Apparently there's some sort of herb or plant way up in the mountains to the north somewhere that they need for some potion or other. I don't know.
Is there an offer on there?
Says offer sits at 30 gold a head for whoever goes out and tries to find the thing.
Okay.
And then
Is there like an additional price for like the quantity of that we bring back?
It says that there may be changes in rewards. You know, inquiries made at the Green Order. Huh. They have a little map written on the paper thing. See? And she turns it to your way, and she indicates for you that
Like a little map
it is a
to
shop.
the shop in the city?
Yeah, map to the town and the city. Yep. It is the shop that is right down here in the corner.
Should we let them know, or do you want to head over there?
Well, I mean, we could let the others know. We still have something else we're going to be doing. Traveling up
that's
to the
in, like,
mountains
how
to the
long-
north is...
Well, I mean, like, just go and talk to the person and stuff, and then let's see.
Sure, if you want to go down there. Just don't kick in their door.
Only if I'm having a really bad day.
I mean, okay. I guess you're not having a bad day right now. Yet.
No, I'm kind of meh today. But I guess we should let them know that you and I are wandering off.
Okay.
Actually, how long do we have until he's supposed to come meet us?
The night. So we have a couple hours.
Okay, that's
5
plenty.
hours or so. Yeah, plenty of time to go and talk to about a quest or something.
Yeah, I guess Silver will go into the tavern and be like,
Yep.
Hey guys!
So Silver steps inside to the tavern with Yong, and
We're gonna go
sort of
run
looks-
to another shop real quick, since we have
Oh,
a few
okay.
hours. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Just don't go getting into trouble or anything.
You know us. We won't get in trouble.
Yes, I do know you. That's the problem. I eye the door.
It'll be
Oak,
fine.
Oak sort of gives a smile and is like, just be careful. We still don't know what all is going on in this town, okay?
Oh, just shady dealings and whatnot.
Hmm.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
I guess we go
Um,
wander to the other store.
I turned to Bjorn.
Yep.
So, did you know that apparently she's always had a problem with kicking indoors? Like, it's gotten worse lately, but, like, I've genuinely lost count of the number of times I have watched her just kick in a door when it was not necessary. And even more so, I've lost count when the times it was necessary.
Seems to be a new superpower that she has, says Oak.
Yeah, and I'll just start recounting all the various times that Locke remembers her kicking indoors. Because at this point,
No,
45
time she
minutes
failed.
later. Oh, and then this one time.
Alright. So, I don't know why Bjorn was quiet there, but so you make your way down to Silver and Young make their way down to the Green Order herbalist shop.
It's an herbalist shop. Okay.
And you step on inside, and in the herbalist shop, you find a female
Herb.
halfling. Yes, in the shop, you find a female halfling.
Okay.
She seems to be working with various different concoctions and things. It's there is a very strong like aromatherapy kind of a thing going on in this place. It smells very nice. And she's sort of looks up as the two of you step on in. She's, oh, welcome. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I am doing well, or at least as well as I can be anyway.
And what seems the problem?
Well, there is a very high demand potion that I need to get, and my supplier that I was getting those ingredients from recently had a problem and has not been able to give me supplies. So, she sort of eyes Silver, who is in this big clunky armor and clearly not from around here, and she's, I don't suppose you're someone who's looked at my quest on the quest board, are you?
We are.
Good.
What is this potion?
Well, it's a potion to it's a. She sort of looks around for a minute. It's a dragon resistance potion,
Dragon
or at least,
resistant potion?
well, it resists like mostly elementals and things, but it's been given the name of a dragon resistance because the common thing that people around here would encounter that would use those kinds of attacks would be dragons. It's actually just a fire resistance potion, but still.
So it's a fire resistant potion. Okay.
But you seem to be a much more seasoned veteran adventurer, so I won't, swindle you on that. But
So what is this ingredient that we are supposed to look for?
it's it's called a lunar heart flower, found up to the north. Very pretty purple flower, blooms only at night. It's said to have some part of it that's like infused with dragon magic because it's near one of the magic, like, what do they call those things? It's like ley lines, something weird. I don't know. There's a strong sense of magic in that part of the continent. So, if you go up that way and you look for it, it's supposed to be up that way. It's way far north. That's why I'm not going to go try to go up there. But, yeah.
Okay.
I would really appreciate it if you would go out there and get it. I can pay you. I can adjust how much I'm paying if you need much more, but, yeah. Name's Krissa, by the way.
Ira.
Oh, okay. And Yang sort of nods and, Yang. Okay. So you think the two of you might journey up that way and see if you can pick up the flower for me, or?
Yeah, we probably could. We would need a day to think about it, if you don't mind.
No worries. That's perfectly fine. Just let me know. I'll be here.
Okay. I guess me and Young heads back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Krissa seems to be very much, like, absently lost in thought. After the conversation sort of slowed down the way that it did, she just really stopped talking. Seems very much the distracted type.
That's fine.
Yeah. And as you step away from the herbalist shop and things like that, you start to make your way back, and Young sort of looks to Silver and's like,
What?
There is... Okay, so you know all the smells that was in that place?
Yes?
I recognized one of those.
You did. What do you mean?
Well, there's, okay, so remember when we went to, to Leanne's village back in Gradiriel when we got Oak, again?
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever went into the sort of general shop that we had there and met, Christine. She was, one of the person who ran the general store, and she didn't really talk. She was mute.
Yes.
Yeah. So one thing that she liked to make all the time was something that she and Oak would use to sort of just forget and just sort of relax and space out.
Drugs.
And you think she has some?
Something like it. Something that smells like it anyway.
Okay. And that's concerning?
Well, no, it's just... It's not necessarily concerning. I mean, she can get things bought and imported, I guess, but it's just... Christine seemed to think that it came from one place, and she didn't really like that place. So, I don't know. It was just weird. I wouldn't expect it to be way out here.
What was the place she didn't like?
It's not really my place to say. It's her story, but Christine, before Leanne found her, she was sort of in a, like, druidic tribe with druids. I don't know if you know anything about druids.
Maybe?
But she was with a druid tribe.
Those are the people that live out in the sticks, right?
Out in forests and things, and have a lot to do with animals. Yeah. She was part of a druid circle there for a while, and then because she couldn't really make use of magic, not being able to speak, she kind of got kicked out, and she had to sort of make her own way. And she found someone to help her. And that person sort of showed her a way to learn various spells and things that could allow her to cast magic and things, but at the same time, he also got her hooked on this drug, basically.
So it's a guy.
Yeah, guy. She wouldn't tell me much about him. She didn't really like talking about it, but...
Not even a name?
She wouldn't give me a name. I don't know why. Drow was all she'd tell me. He was a creepy drow. That's all she would really tell me. Creepy, always high, always drugged drow. Sure shrugged her shoulders.
I have an urge to kick a door.
I
have an urge to kick a door.
What door?
I'd go back and ask questions.
I mean, you can, if you want to.
Okay, she turns around and goes back in. She doesn't kick the door open, she just goes back in. Like, I'm so sorry. I forgot to talk to you about something.
Oh, yeah? What do you need?
I need your full attention. Do you know of a drow guy? He's kind of creepy. kind of smells like how this place smells?
Come
Come on, snap, snap, snap.
Silver, make for me a wisdom save.
Oh no! Magic!
Wisdom? 12! Oh no!
9!
Alright. So, Silver, there's this brief moment, and you're sort of staring down this halfling, and she seems very much like and then
Come
she
on.
waves her and then she waves her hands. There's a brief flash of some sort of little rune thing on the floor, and suddenly you're not in her shop anymore. You're in an alley somewhere.
Oh,
Still looks like you're in Mork, but you're not where you were. Mm-hmm.
Did Young get dragged along for the ride?
Nope.
Oh no.
She
Is she
wasn't
able
close
to
enough.
figure out where she is?
Is there any back doors?
Well, you're in a back alley. You're not
Oh,
in a
yeah.
house.
She kicks
I'm
in a
I know,
random
that's
door.
why she's
Where
asking
am I?
if there's a door.
There is a door to the building near you, yeah.
Okay, she goes up and starts pounding on it.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, just keep
so-
constant pounding.
Roll me a d4.
Oh, a D4. Oh no.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
1.
1.
So
No.
you're pounding on the door, and then there's like not for a while there's not really a response, and then all of a sudden, as if it has happened again, little 4-year-old kid in your face. Boom.
Ah!
What?
Hi!
Hi.
Do I know you?
Hi. It's the same little kid that you took the blanket from.
Oh, hi. Sorry. Where am I?
Points to the door that you were pounding on. Home.
Home?
Uh-huh.
Is your mother home? I go through to the front of your home?
He grabs a hold of you and poof, poof, you're inside.
Ah!
I like this kid.
And you are now in front of the counter.
Behind or in
And
front? Like
you're
actually in the
in
store
front. You're in the store part of the place. And your
Hi.
mother sort of the mother sort of drops what she was messing with, and it clatters onto the floor. And she, Willows, what did you?
I was just in another shot. What? I was in the back alley.
Are you okay?
Where's Young? Where's Young?
Young is nowhere near you currently.
Right. So, yeah. Have you heard of the Green
Green Order.
The Green Order?
Name of the shop. Green Order.
The store, the lady.
Krisa. Krisa. Yes, Krisa.
What's that? Yes. She's asking, it's like, hey, have you heard of this place?
Oh yeah, Krisa's really nice.
I was just, she teleported me to here. Well, technically your back alley.
Oh, okay. She usually does that when she gets really scared.
I just asked her a question.
Well, whatever the question was, she didn't like it.
How much do you know about her?
She wasn't born in Mork. She sort of traveled this way. I don't know a whole lot. She just,
Right.
she only,
Have you seen her with a drow man before?
no.
No? Okay. Alright. Sorry to bother you. And out the front door.
Yum.
And she's just hauling ass back to the Green Order.
Spin.
This is when she's randomly super superstitious, and she's like, you didn't come in that door, so you can't go out that door. I'm sorry, you have to leave out the back door.
She didn't come in through any
no.
door. She was teleported.
No, but make for me a dexterity save while you're running to go outside the door.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Now what?
A dexterity save.
You forgot to kick the door open on your way out.
10?
10.
Okay. Yeah, you're good. You go to make your way out, and you just barely catch as you're bolting to get out the door. The little boy Willows has jumped right in front of your feet, but you get out of the way just in time.
Oh, careful.
And
Stay home.
you are now you're now gone. Where are you going?
I'm going back to the Green Order as fast as she can.
Okay. So you are somewhere between the her shop and the Green Order, and Are you going through the main road, or are you going through the back alleys?
She's going through the main road because that's all she knows is the main road. She doesn't know the alleys.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Logic.
So you're going through, and you're about halfway between the two, and you find Young. Yeah, and Young, she's there, and she's, oh, there you are. What the heck happened?
She teleported me all the way back over to the other store, the phone bureau.
She
in the back alley. Apparently she's scared. She's hiding.
I didn't know that there was magic that could teleport someone else without you touching them and going with them.
Neither did I.
That's okay. Are we really sure we want to try to do something with that? She might just teleport you away again.
No. Why don't you go and get Oak?
Okay. Why am I getting Oak?
He might be the most. Okay, maybe Oak and Cad. You know what? Just go get the rest of the group. I'll meet you back over at the Green Order.
Are you gonna go there by yourself?
Yes, but I'm not going in. I promise.
Okay. And Silver makes her way to, and with that, Silver makes her way to the Green Order, and Young goes back to the tavern to get the rest of the group. So Young will go to. She sort of makes her way inside the door, and she's okay, guys. There is something really weird with this shop down in the south part of town. Silver wants to sort of look into it and try to see what's going on with it. And she sort of looks at Oak and she goes, Oak, whoever this person is that runs this herbalist shop she has Christine's herb, and Oaks immediately steps up and he's like, wait, what? How did they get way over here? I don't know.
It's important.
Oak sort of looks to Locke and goes, well, we still have a couple hours left before night. Hopefully this doesn't turn into something crazy, but...
Hopefully. I'll end back with Bjorn and give him the rundown of whatever.
Oak sort of looks towards Bjorn and Cad, and he's like, so remember when you came to get me back from the village before, and I was sort of high and all drugged up-ish?
Would I remember that?
You don't, because you weren't there, Cad.
Bjorn
this was before you were in the group.
Yeah, Bjorn wasn't there either.
But this is specifically to Locke.
Yeah, I remember. I remember quite vividly that I was a little worried about you.
Yeah, so Christine's herb that she uses to do that, the magical one that was supposed to allow you to do really cool things with magic, yeah, she got that from someone that she was with for a time in her past, and somehow someone here also has it.
Huh. Oh,
so,
right. That's interesting.
I don't know why Silver wants to look into it. Maybe Young... I told her more about Christine's story. Right. Okay. Well, let's go and look into that. Cad, Bjorn, you want to tag along? Yeah.
I guess. Sure.
All right. What about Bjorn?
Okay.
Adventure.
David, you wake?
Yep.
Okay. You're just not saying anything over there.
All right.
I'm awake still.
Okay.
All right. So everyone follows Young as she leads the way back to the Green Order.
Yes.
And after a moment, Silver of you standing in front of the door anxiously, you have your party with you.
Hi, something's fucking...
In the time they took to get there, could she have gotten there early and take a lap around the building?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Is there any other doors?
Yeah, there is, actually. And as you make a way behind the store, sort of looking around the store itself, there is a back door and a tiny little almost patio garden kind of a thing.
Okay, she makes her way up front.
Okay, yep. And the rest of the party arrives, and now you're all standing in front of the Green Order.
Hi. This lady likes to teleport people, so yeah.
Huh. All right.
Kaduril goes up to the front door and examines it for boot marks.
There's no boot marks.
Cad can roll investigation.
Right away.
19. No boot marks. Door seems to be fine. Although, in your 19 investigation, if you go to sort of mess with the handle or jiggle it or any kind of thing like that, you find that it is indeed locked.
Well, I wouldn't have had a reason to do that. I was mainly looking with a scrutinous eye to see if maybe someone got teleported for kicking a door in. I have questions. You have 60 seconds. Poof, poof. I mean, that would totally make sense.
Right, but no. Nope.
Okay. So I do not know that the door is locked because I wouldn't have checked that.
So,
Okay.
What's the plan?
I just wanted to know if she knew a man.
Well, if she bamfed you when you asked, I think the answer is yes, and she doesn't want people to know about it.
Okay, well, I have more questions then.
So how do we want to do this?
Kick it in the door.
No! Let's just go inside.
Alright. That door is locked.
Oh. Silver goes around to the back.
What about this one?
Is this one unlocked?
Are there any windows on the way around?
Yes. The shop does indeed have windows.
Can I see in through them?
Yep.
Look, do I see any sign of the proprietress?
Give for me a perception check.
11.
No. The store seems to be empty.
Silver goes and tries the back door.
I'm not seeing her inside.
So you go into the back door. The back door does appear to be unlocked.
Hey, guys.
Ah!
Hey, Cad, can you go stand in the front door? Just go stand there.
Okay.
Okay, we'll bring you in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to block the escapes. Kind of.
I probably look very worried and confused.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mostly worried.
I'm gonna pop a cast of Detect Magic while he's wandering off and looking through that window again.
Okay. There is, I guess it would be, yeah. There is as you sort of look through the shop, there is a great number of auras of magic. You can tell, looking in the shop with your keen eye, that she brews and makes potions. A lot of them of the magical variety.
Right.
And there also seems to be it's very faint. Faint because it's kind of small. There seems to be some sort of aura of transmutation of some kind.
And any like
inside of the.
Right. And is there any residue of like teleportation from behind the counter where she would have been standing?
Not teleportation. In that kind of area is where you're getting that sense of transmutation. There's some sort of transmutation aura in and around the counter.
Standing outside the front door, do I perceive anything?
Roll perception.
I don't smell it, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, you kind of.
Oh wait, smells at advantage, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. 24.
Yeah. There is an incredibly strong aroma to this place. It smells like it very much smells like something that is like a very odd plant aroma of some kind. If you ever been a person who does not know how drugs smell, but now you suddenly smell them, it's like that.
Weed?
The good stuff, quote unquote.
The good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good shit.
Silver's going to go in through the back door.
Okay, go on through the back door. You find yourself in a small little room that was in the back of the shop that consists of like unpotted plants that have been moved or were in the process of being moved. There's like a little alchemist table. The room seems to be mostly empty, other than like little odd and ends of items that are scattered about the room.
Hello? Teleporting me away was a very bad move.
No response.
Silver comes back with vengeance.
Kind of.
Kick in the door to the bathroom.
She makes her way to the actual shop part, and she's like looking, see if she can find anyone, like hiding.
Roll me a perception.
Oh, I got 20.
Woo! Nice. Nat 2021. Alright, so you make your way outside to the shop front. Locke, use looking through the windows if you're still doing so. You see Silver come in from the back room, and she sort of looks around the room, and you don't see a person, but what you do see is a tiny little field mouse that scurries and disappears under the counter.
Silver's gonna drop down and try to grab it.
Acrobatics.
I assume I'm seeing this.
Acrobatics?
Or, I guess it would be grapple, basically.
Right. So what?
I
Strength?
mean, athletics or acrobatics, either one, depending on how you're wanting to grab it. Because that's how grapple works.
Holy shit! Another natural 20?
Alright.
Thank you, dice gods!
They've been
Don't
shitting
kick
on us.
in the
Great
mouth.
to me.
They have been shitting on us all session, and now they like us.
Oh,
Just don't kick
Alright.
in the mouse, please.
I'm on the path of goodness, I swear.
Says the person who took a
so-
blanket from a kid. Anyway.
She
So-
bought it.
I bought it. The proprietor was willing to give it away since it was like getting a little torn up
It was
stuff, and I'm sure she got, with the 40 gold, she got the kid a new, nice, soft, fuzzier blanket. That's a safety blanket.
That doesn't expand into a massive tent on the inside.
Exactly.
But the little kid couldn't bury himself in. Yeah. Silver, rather impressively, you grab a hold and
I
you
dive
have
onto the floor and grab it.
She does 15 backflips, hand somersaults all the way across the room and grabs it.
Yeah, no.
No, it's just pretty much a belly flop and heavy armor.
For the house.
Well,
Um,
no.
Think
and
of
then
the
you have-
children.
and then you have Mouse.
She holds on to the mouse, and then goes and opens the front door for Cad.
I've seen this whole
Okay.
spectacle. I am assuming that the transmutation aura is coming from said mouse.
Yep.
I'm gonna come inside.
All right. So everyone has been led inside at this point, and you have a little mouse.
Including
Who's
me.
squeaking and terrified, by the way. Yeah, and Cad.
Not gonna hurt you.
Says the person that just kung fu movied across the room to grab it.
Didn't kung fu across a room. I came out of the back, looked at where the counter was, and saw it go under. And she just kind of did a soccer goalie dive to try to catch it.
Why am I now picturing Tom and Jerry? Anyway, go ahead.
I know, right?
I don't know.
So,
Anyway, so yeah. Anyone want to? I mean, you have a person that can read minds, and you have a person who is not wanting to get out of the mode that they can't talk in. So,
Block is gonna come over, look down at the mouse, and turn on and awaken mind, and do the eyes glow purple thing. Do I establish a connection? Is this our target?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I'll make that connection, and I'll say, okay, so we're not here to hurt you or cause any trouble whatsoever. My friend was literally just asking you a question for the benefit of a friend of ours who may or may not have been indirectly troubled by the drow individual that she was asking about. All we want to know is information. Do that cleanly and nothing bad's going to happen. Teleporting her around is a surefire way to annoy her and by extension us. And we wouldn't hurt you, but it'll just make everything a humongous pain in the ass on everyone, so please just don't give us that crap. We're busy enough as it is.
Actually, wait a minute. I just realized something.
Yes?
Your awakened mind has a intelligence requirement, right?
Yes. I think... hold on, let
Well,
me check.
that's the
Let
thing.
me check.
Drows
Let me check.
keep their intelligence.
Druids keep their intelligence when they wild shape. That's true.
I can communicate
But if
telepathically
they
with any...
polymorph,
I can communicate telepathically with any creature I can see within 30 feet that knows at least one language. The requirement is that it knows a
so
language. It's not an intelligence score
So it
requirement.
doesn't
it's
actually have.
Yeah.
So it doesn't actually have to have an intelligence check or anything. It just has to know a language.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting. So okay. So there's a brief moment of nothing, and then she's. The drow. He just gave me supplies of things, and he was really nice for a minute, and then he wasn't, and then he was scary. And can you please let me go?
I look to... Well, first I'll say... Well, first, can you assure us that you're not going to try and scurry off the second she puts you down?
No.
Okay. I will, I'm gonna have Mage Hand ready to go just in case, and I'll, look to Silver and be like, Okay, go ahead and put her down on the counter. You're being held like this is freaking her out and she's not being receptive.
Okay. She goes and sets the mouse down on the counter.
Yeah. Let me roll a thing. You said you had a mage hand, yes?
I had a mage hand ready to go to scoop her up if she tried to scurry away.
Roll for me Arcana.
Oh, boy.
Because it would have the, intricacies of your mage hand through
Shit,
Arcana.
16.
She's gone.
Fucking... Do I still have the Awakened Mind link?
You do.
Would you please not panic? We're not here to hurt you.
Yeah, but you're doing the same thing he did.
Which is...
Talking in somebody's mind. It's
Okay. I can explain that one. I'll sort of gesture at everyone's like, okay, stop for a second, stay back for a sec. And I'll just sort of slowly lower myself down to a cross-legged position. My ability to talk into the minds of other people is extremely limited, and it was given to me. It's just a spell I know. It's very limited. I can't read any thoughts except the ones you project to me to communicate. So your privacy is assured on that front. It's simply an alternative means of communicating. It was taught to me as a regular spell, like any other. It's harmless.
Okay. So, does she just want information?
As I mentioned a second ago, this drow may have indirectly or even directly harmed a friend of ours. If you know something about him that might help us out on that front, or at least give us more to go on, then that would be very good information for us to have. It sounds like this drow scared you, so you know he's not a good person. I'll sort of put a hand on my chest for emphasis. We are far from perfect, but I like to think we're good people who do good things. More often than not, we're trying to stop, schmucks like that, so if you can spare any information that might help us out in the long term with that, it would be appreciated, but we can't do that if you keep running and hiding and panicking all the time.
I can give you a name. I don't know where he is, but I can give you a name.
Okay. I point at Silver. Give it to her, please. She's the one who asked.
So she sort of comes out of her little hiding place, and then back into herself. He told me his name was Norvid.
Do we know a Norvid? Let me check my notes.
Check your notes, Brian.
Oh. Oh, no.
Do we?
You guys don't, but Locke does.
Ah, God. Thanks.
Locke, are you okay?
I am disturbed. I'm stepping outside. Locke, now seeming a little on the stunned side, is just kind of stumble out.
Locke, wait, what?
He's just leaning against the wall by the door, outside.
Well, thank you for the name, miss.
Mm-hmm.
And he forced you to sell this stuff?
No. Who are you asking first?
The girl that runs the place. The druid.
He didn't force anything on me, really. He just sort of, he showed me a really cool, well, he said it was cool, and it kind of is, but it messes with you, but he showed me something that was really useful for magic users, and he showed me how to cultivate it and grow it, and it sells really well, but I don't really like telling people where I got it from, because he's not exactly the best person in the world.
Right. Did you meet anyone else, or just him?
I just ever saw him.
Okay. Does he come by every now and then?
Hasn't
No?
been in a while, anyway. Nope.
Okay. Well, thank you. we will go, and we
I'm
are
sorry I
definitely
teleported you.
considering the offer of going and get your supplies.
I'm sorry I teleported you away. It's just anytime somebody mentions and speaks about him, he did some things that was not very good, and I sort of flash back to those whenever I think about him again. So I'm sorry.
You're fine. It's fine. We will definitely consider your quest pamphlet. All right, let's go out, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Out the front door this time.
Yep. All right. So, following that, does anyone try to get out of Locke how he feels, or is Locke just going to sort of brood for a bit?
Locke, Silver is kind of concerned about Locke. You're like, are you okay, Locke?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just... This isn't the first time I've heard that name.
Who... It isn't?
You know how I get my powers from weird places, right? I pat my black book. And how, Dahlia has tried on occasion to snatch me away.
Right.
When that was first starting, normally whenever I have weird dream visions thing, they let me communicate with my patron, the one who gives me the power I use. But when Dahlia was interfering, my visions were different. There's always some weird screwing with time every time I have these visions. I can see bits of the past or even moments of the future I would wager is quite possible. Never set in stone, but I digress.
And all this information is in front of the Green Order shop, by the way. Everybody's here.
Yeah. And one of the first times that Dahlia tried to hijack me, I was shown a vision that I was confused about at the time. I had no idea where it was. I recognize it now as the Feywild in retrospect. There was this drow child, and for whatever reason, I was suddenly in control of the body of an elven hunter or bounty hunter or something like that. And apparently I had been tasked, the ranger I had possessed had been tasked with escorting him somewhere in the Feywild to some castle or faction elsewhere. And whoever that ranger was, they were unkind in the extreme. They did terrible things to Norvid. But whoever they were didn't matter, because suddenly I was the one in control. And all I could really do was play along. I had no idea what was going on, so I wound up asking Norvid most of the questions. But there was only so much I could get out of him, because at the time, he was just a child. I tried to assure him that things would be fine, or at the very least that as long as I was in control of that body, he had nothing to fear from me, and I tried to learn everything I could, but eventually my understanding of my link to all of that slipped, and I was shunted back to myself in the present, and I can't help but wonder if I was sent all the way back into the past, or if it's just how the time dilation with the Feywild works or not, but Norvid's not a child anymore.
No.
And he's definitely gone down a bad road. And I don't know how to feel about that, because I only met him the one time. But I spent several hours, if not days, with him. It's hard to remember. The whole thing was screwy. But I tried my best to be kind, and I don't want that to be for nothing. Hang on. I'm going to reach into my bag, and I am going to also, I'm going to pull out a sheet of parchment, my ink, and a quill, and I'm going to quickly write down a little note.
Okay.
On which says, I'm trying to think of how best to word it.
What are you going to do with this note?
The intent is to write something that if Norvid ever comes back here, the shopkeep can give it to him on my behalf, since I won't be here most likely. I'm just trying to figure out what exactly to have the note say.
You can deliberate that yourself at a later date. I don't know. I don't think Locke's going to show that to everyone else, is he?
I mean, he's writing it right there.
I mean, yeah.
I'd say probably something that you've said to him?
Yeah, probably just, I want it to be vague, but not so vague that he wouldn't be able to follow it.
You've messed with enough minds. Yours is next.
No, that's antagonistic.
Oh.
No, I was suggesting something as in, like, from the conversation that he had with Norvid.
All right,
In a place.
Right.
I mean, it's up to you.
All right, I think, I don't remember the exact conversation because it's been a while and a lot of shit's happened since then.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I was saying, you could deliberate on what that message is and suffice it for the group for the sake of the game itself, that you're writing a note to Norvid referencing some of the things that you'd said to him in the past, and then what are you attempting to get out of that? What do you want him to do?
I want him to come find me, essentially.
Okay. All right.
Like as non-antagonistically as possible, trying to coax him into meeting. Probably in Yukieki, because that's where we're going to be. Most of the time, that's our headquarters. So.
All right. I'll sort of accept that, and then we can say that that's what it is. And you give that to Krissa, the shop owner?
Once I have that note written down, I'll step back inside the shop. Excuse me. One more thing before we go. I've met this Norvid person once before, and I pulled out the note. I don't want you to read this, but if he ever comes by again, just give him this, and tell him it's from a friend who went away before he should have.
Okay. Honestly, I don't really hope...
It's very complicated. Just, if he comes by, do me that favor, and hopefully it'll convince him to leave you be for a little bit. It's kind of a big deal.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, I honestly hope he doesn't come back, but if he does, I'll be sure to give that to him.
Okay, thank you. I honestly get the impression he could have been a lot better. Maybe he still can. Won't know until I find him, though. Take care,
Alrighty.
And I'll slip back out.
Okay.
Alright, I think we've done enough exploring. I say we head back to the inn and wait.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to find a bombshell like that while we were out here, but I need time to digest
stuff works,
this.
Isn't it?
Yes, thank you, mysterious voice in the sky. Let's get back to the inn. I need some time to process this before our job tonight.
All right. So you guys make your way back to the tavern, sort of get a time to sort of chill and process. Was there any other scenes that you wanted to have, Locke, or is by processing something that can be done sort of off screen?
Largely, Locke will just sort of be keeping to himself, just kind of trying to think it through and just get himself sorted with that little bombshell. And maybe at some point he might do that thing to sort of find a dark corner, put his back to the rest of the room, and do his equivalent of commune, where he summons up Eldritch Blast energy in his hand, and in this case probably say something along the lines of, next I sleep, if it's possible, if you can get me to see this Norvid person again as he is now, I'd appreciate it. And then I'll let the blast energy fade. And I'll know if anything comes of that next time I sleep.
Interesting.
Cool.
All right. So...
I am basically a wonky cleric, let's be real. A wonky cleric who's a better rogue than our rogue.
So, I'm going to end out this session. It went a little longer. My breadcrumbs were more investigated than I anticipated.
Sorry. I was mainly waiting to have see if anyone else comes back to try to beat Silver up.
Oh, I know. That didn't happen. You kind of did a very good job of appeasing a lot of that at the moment. Not to mention the fact that you're on a mission right now, so
right.
People didn't want to mess with you. So with that, you have we sort of close out this session with Razo finally arriving and coming into the tavern. It's
Well, it's about time.
just after dusk, about 7 or 8 p.m. or so, something like that. Gotten to be fairly dark outside, well into the nightly hours, as it were. And he's like, okay, so, you guys have everything in order then?
Yep.
Yes.
Alright. If that's the case, then if you will follow me, please, and we will make our way to my, for lack of a better way to put it, it's a secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
I was expecting that. Yep.
Is that a reference I don't get?
Avatar.
Still need to watch that show.
You should. It's a really good show.
So I've heard. Repeatedly.
So you make your way sort of a little ways to the edge of town, and as you get up that way, you see that there is a single building. It doesn't really look like it from this map because all the buildings look the same, but there is in fact one building that has set as a sort of central point, as much as the tower anyway, because it's the only building in the entire place that seems to be at least 2 stories tall. Every other place is fairly small and simple. This place has 2 floors.
Fancy.
And he sort of leads you around that sort of area, and as everybody gets closer, he sort of looks between everyone and, if we want to do this infiltration mission, we want to make sure we do it right. And, hopefully no one has found my secret tunnel, but you never know. And he will sort of snap his fingers, and there's a glow from one of his rings, and swirling mists and shadows coat the entire party as he uses his ring to cast Pass Without a Trace.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So
Fancy.
keeping in mind with that, I'm going to end this session with a quick stealth roll from everyone. And you have a +10 because Pass Without a Trace.
30.
I have advantage.
You do.
30.
I see
29.
22.
22. Dang. Wow. Okay.
Apparently, next session's going to be epic.
Oh, jeez.
So I have a collection of natural 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Young, it's a rogue.
Mm-hmm.
She is a stealth.
Young gets to
She
be
is
a
a
next.
Stealth.
I really
And
hope she's a
just-
badass next session.
Yeah.
And just for,
Speaking
and
of,
just,
I don't. No, I should be able to.
And just for the heck of it, I'm going to let you guys see Razo's actual roll for stealth. So 15. So I'm going to go ahead and roll Razo's stealth, and since I'm having to roll it outside of a sheet, I'm going to go ahead and add his 20 from Pass Without a Trace.
20?
Boom. Add his 10 from Pass Without a Trace, sorry.
So he gets a 37. Or is it supposed to be 27?
So,
Yep.
our party rogue almost tied him.
Almost.
Damn. Nice.
So yeah, you guys are pretty well stealthy, and you're making your way into his secret tunnel. I'm going to do a quick change of the map, and we will end the session there.
Alright.
Because I have a map for his tunnel.
Woo!
So, we will go into exploring that next session.
Next time.
This has been Shadows part. We will do Kenneth, and then next time I'll do the next time.
This has been Shadows of Gradiriel.
Join us next time when the group finally does their infiltration mission with Razo, and we see how well that goes.
Ought to be a fun time. Ought to be a fun time.
Yes.